Hello and welcome to another episode of the Good Boxing Podcast with your host Josh Size, and I have a very good episode for you. Devin the Dream Haney was in action against his first formidable test in the 135-pound division. Devin Haney, being one of the most potential filled fighters in the entire division, finally got his first, and I mean really his first true test. I can't sit here and describe that Devin Haney has fought anyone of the caliber of Jorge Linares. However, in his first test, I got to sit here and say he passed. I know this is not a popular opinion. I've been kind of browsing the internet, social media, various different pieces of boxing content online after the fight that I watched last night. And I was actually really excited to see the fight. I thought it was a good day of fights between Nonito Donaire. You had Jorge Linares versus Devin Haney. The list goes on and on. However, in this fight, what I saw was a young fighter coming into his own. The first 10 rounds went exactly how I expected. Devin Haney showed masterful boxing skills. He showed that nice body stick to the head, nice jab, was controlling the fight, would catch Jorge Linares with tremendous counters. However, Jorge Linares kept him honest, and it was the first fighter, in my opinion, that had the ability to keep Devin Haney honest. He threw a bunch of combinations. He countered the counter puncher. Anytime Devin Haney started to get into a little bit of a rhythm and got a little cocky, he made him pay. And that's exactly what a fight like this does. It makes you raise your game, and it makes you realize that at the higher level, a lot of the stuff you get away with lesser competition, you're not going to get away with better opposition. Jorge Linares was a tremendous competitor. He came in shape. You saw that he was trying to win the fight, and that it wasn't necessarily just a payday. He didn't try to survive against Devin Haney just to say like, "Hey, I went the distance with the heavyweight champ, the lightweight champion." Um, he actually showed up to win, and you saw that. I saw a vigor, I saw a tenacity that we hadn't seen from Linares for a while, and unfortunately, he just came up short. Devin Haney won a 12-round unanimous decision. Pretty, in my opinion, I had it 117, 111. However, the judges had it a little closer, 116, 112, and then one judge had a 115, 113, which I thought was, in my opinion, very close. And I just don't think that was the case. However, and this is where boxing gets very frustrating, in my opinion. Devin Haney has been prognosticating that he is this world class. I'm the real champ. Nobody wants to fight me. Teofimo doesn't want to fight me. Lomachenko doesn't want to fight me. Everyone doesn't want to fight me because I'm Devin Haney. And for a while, I think he started to believe in that narrative. Understand that you're trying to sell yourself as a fighter. I understand that you're trying to sell yourself amongst the best in the 135-pound division, but tonight that wasn't answered. And truthfully, in my opinion, it was his own fault. Devin Haney was pitching a shutout, in my opinion. I think Jorge Linares maybe won one round where he caught him with a nice couple of counters. He caught Devin Haney trying to exchange with him. Devin Haney tried to counter and got a little greedy with his offensive approach, and Jorge Linares kept him honest. But for the majority of the fight, for the first 10 and a half rounds, he was pitching 9.5 rounds. He was pitching a wonderful performance. I'm going to sit here and say, like, he looked pretty good and honestly probably should have cruised to an easy 12-round decision. But again, buying into narratives, buying into all the stuff that you're hearing on social media, all the stuff that you're hearing from your critics. Oh, Devin Haney never goes out there and stops so and so. Devin Haney needs to go and stop so and so to prove that he is elite amongst X. You got to go out there and show this. And even I've been critical of the fact that he doesn't blow out his opposition, right? But the only reason why I sit here and other people sit here and critique you is because you constantly say, nobody wants smoke with me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to destroy X. I'm this. I'm a killer. You have this notion that you're this power puncher, but you're not. There was a period of time where he was trying to walk people down. He was trying to walk Jorge Linares down, and it was effective. But that's when he took the most punishment. That's when he was trying to go to the body and walk Jorge Linares down. It looked great. I was happy he tried it, but then immediately the worst case scenario happened. You're cruising to this 12-round decision that honestly, it probably would have been 11-1, maybe even 10-2 if he just kept doing what he's good at. Clearly, you saw an emphasis on a nice little touch jab, body jab, hit him with the hard right hand, check him with a couple of hooks, and then tie up, reset, do it all over again. It was working tremendously the whole night. And then he fell asleep. Jorge Linares catches Devin Haney with a combination where he's throwing, catches him in the shoulder roll. He's trying to roll, and the reason why you throw combinations against the shoulder roll is you want to square up the shoulder roller. He threw a jab, he caught the jab, right? Threw a right hand, he rolled the right hand, caught the hook, and then the right hand came right up the middle and caught him. When he caught him, you saw Devin Haney stumbling to the corner, and this was at the end of the 10th round. And Devin Haney literally was stumbling to the corner where Jorge Linares was like, hey, the corner's over here. And you saw him excited that he rocked Devin Haney, and Devin Haney was hurt. It was the first time I've seen Devin Haney hurt. I haven't watched all of his fights, but I've watched a bunch of them, and I've never seen him so hurt. He was devastatingly hurt. He walked to the corner, and for the first time, you saw that he was facing adversity. It wasn't the adversity of a hurt hand. It wasn't the adversity of a strong old veteran who's washed up like Gamboa, giving him some tricky looks and catching him with a lucky punch. This was the first time in Devin Haney's career that he realized he made a mistake by trying to be a killer. Jorge Linares, beautiful combination puncher, but does not have anywhere near the power of, let's say, a Teofimo Lopez or even, truthfully, a Ryan Garcia. And I'm going to sit here and say, and I don't want to talk about these fighters before I get going on my tangent about Devin Haney. He gets touched like that versus those other guys, it's over. Like Jorge Linares, I like Jorge. I think he came to win. I think he gave a good account of himself. But if Devin Haney makes this kind of mistake, even versus a Lomachenko, it is over for Haney. And he got hurt that 10th round, at the end of the 10th round, by feeding into the booze, by feeding into the criticism. It's okay to be a masterful boxer. It's okay to be smart. It's okay to just keep dominating the way you dominate. But he chose to be like, no, I'm Devin Haney. I'm the real WBC champ. Like, stop it. Because then what happens? Round 11 comes. Devin Haney literally did not throw any punches. He held the entire time. He just ran up to Jorge Linares and held. I blame Jorge Linares for not capitalizing on that because there were times where he could have punched in those clinches. However, Devin Haney's body work, that body stick, tapping that solar plex, going to the body, it seemed to tap him. Maybe he had an adrenaline dump where right at the end he saw he got excited. His adrenaline's pumping. He's trying to rush, and he just couldn't finish the job because that's just not the kind of fighter he is, in my opinion. He's not a clubber. He's a smart counter puncher that has sharp power. But he's not this one-punch knockout artist. And look, round 11, he won. I think he was losing round 10 until he hit Devin Haney with the punch that rocked him. But one punch, does that really win you a round? Then round 12, Devin Haney pulled it off by boxing, holding, and just made the fight easier like he did in the beginning. One thing I did notice was Ben Davison and Devin Haney's dad really were, you could tell it's a new relationship. You could tell the chemistry is not quite there. You can tell there's some conflicting information being given to Devin Haney. And look, chemistry takes time to build. And I'm not going to sit here and blame Ben Davison because the game plan was working for 10 and a half rounds. Actually, 10 and 3/4 rounds. If you really think about it, he got hit in the last 10 seconds where he had a lapse of judgment and focus. So things were working well. And even in round 11, when he was like, hey, look, you just got to hold. Don't try to go out there. I know you're hurt, but you saw Devin Haney was hurt. He was not doing very well. And I feel like it's kind of a catch-22 for Devin Haney. These same people that are critiquing you for, oh, why don't you sit there and bang, and oh, you know, you put people to sleep with your 12-round performances. Oh, you need to go out there and have a performance. I understand what you mean, and I've been one that has said for the amount of trash talk you and the killer narrative you're trying to put out there, you have to have that kind of performance to make yourself a killer. But at the end of the day, if you're a boxer, box. It's okay. You like clearly Devin Haney does not have the power he thinks he has. He doesn't have power. And I'm not sitting here and saying he can't hurt anyone. He has enough power to keep people off of him. But this power puncher mentality that he kind of tries to instill on everyone and reputation he's trying to instill on the public. You're not Tio. You're not Ryan Garcia. You're Devin Haney. And that's okay. Be a master boxer. You don't have to be a one-punch knockout artist to sell tickets. You can keep winning, keep making your money, and you'll get the fights you want. But stop listening to the fans, because those very fans that are telling you to go out there and, oh, I want to see Devin Haney knock so-and-so out, are going to critique you when you get hurt, because you're going to try to exchange and you're going to try to prove something. And in trying to prove something, you're never going to satiate the people that critique you. And then you put yourself in a position that when you get hurt, those same people that you're trying to satiate are going to critique you for doing that. So be you. Be there. Box. Hit. Don't. Who cares if you don't knock Linares out? Should you have knocked Linares out? Possibly, because Linares has been hurt and knocked out in his career several times. Would Ryan Garcia, if he fought Jorge Linares and caught him the way he did, hit him the way he got hit by you, knock Jorge Linares out? Yes. If Teofimo Lopez hit Jorge Linares, would he have knocked him out? Yes. But it's okay that you didn't knock out Jorge Linares. Just stop trying to be this knockout artist. Be a boxer. Use your boxing ability. And at this point, you passed your first test, but you made this test way harder by losing focus and making the immature mistake of trying to please people versus trying to win. Win. At this point, you're the WBC champion. You want a big fight. You want to prove yourself against the best. You tried proving yourself against a formidable opponent by doing something that you don't normally do, and you almost paid the ultimate price for it. And that's where the inexperience takes place. That's why this kid wants to be propelled so fast, but this is why they're bringing him along slowly, in my opinion. The fact that he's a champion now, that belt, in my opinion, holds very, very little weight in comparison to the other franchise champion, Teofimo Lopez, because right now, you made yourself look like you're a paper champion, in my opinion. You had a fantastic performance, but if you just shut him out completely, it would have been a masterful performance by Devin Haney. But the fact that you went there and made the rookie mistake of trying to prove like you're something that clearly you're not, it's okay. But you've now put that taint on your own performance. This was your step-up fight. This was the fight that was supposed to tell you, hey, I'm next up. I'm the real champion. I'm this, that, and the third. But all you've done now is create turmoil in your own reputation, because you're literally feeding into the narrative that you're the email world champion. Because the first guy that was in front of you, you were doing well, doing fantastically. You started thinking, hey, I'm going to go take him out. You stood there and actually stood your ground. You didn't run. You didn't move. You didn't box around, dance around. You got touched and you almost got knocked out. So at this point, now everyone knows you have to box. It's not a matter of, hey, you're going forward. I want to go forward. I want to be this dog. Because when you get touched by the bigger punchers in the division, right? Because Ryan Garcia hits hard. You can't deny the fact, yeah, he's been dropped before, but you've seen him get up and then knock out his opponent. Teofimo Lopez punches hard. He catches you, he has power and speed. So it puts credence to the fact that when you guys sparred, maybe you did run away because if you stood there and tried to trade with Tio, he probably hurt you and you had to move. So now you're feeding into all of these alternative narratives. The paper champion, oh, this kid, he's afraid of real competition because when you step to real competition, they give you problems. I personally think your performance, A minus, even a B plus until you got rocked and then you had to hold. But that's part of boxing. You get punched, you get hurt. I'm not going to sit here and take away from your performance, dude. You did great. I honestly feel like his performance was fantastic, but you've opened yourself to the criticism of others, and now it's warranted. So the lesson here is Devin Haney, be Devin Haney. Stop trying to be this killer. Stop trying to outshine Teofimo Lopez. Stop trying to say, oh, Ryan Garcia is afraid of me. These people are afraid of me. I don't think anyone's afraid of you because you don't have power. I do think people may be a little scared of your boxing ability. So lean into it. Be the best master boxer you can be, and you'll get the fights. You have a belt, so you're going to face quality competition. I think Tio, now watching that, probably will want to fight you to just shut your ass up for all the commentary you've made because it's a lot. Like Ben Davison, Josh Taylor, everyone's been running on this. Oh, you're Devin Haney's the real champion, WBC. When you look at the quality, you can't compare the performance of Devin Haney's performance against Jorge Linares to that of Lomachenko and Teofimo Lopez. Even Kome versus Teofimo, like you can't. And right now, Tio's the king of the division. There is no five kings. Ryan Garcia took his break. Devin Haney got challenged by Linares because Linares did fairly well. He hit Devin Haney a lot and showed that Haney has holes. Lomachenko lost to Tio, so he's probably another one of the kings. There's no shame in losing one fight. You have a fantastic career. He's going to be back with Nakatani soon. Davis is fighting 140, and the list goes on and on. So this fight really brought clarity to the 135-pound division, in my opinion. Devin Haney is a master boxer. He has tremendous skills. He has to fix some of the holes in his defense, especially when he fights the better guys. But you can't be mad at someone for having a lapse for 10 seconds at the end of a round in the 10th round that you're dominating. You got a little confident in being the age he is. I don't blame him. I mean, you're masterfully boxing someone. You don't feel like he could hurt you, and then all of a sudden you fall asleep 1 second. You're trying to trade. You got caught. You fed into the fans. You fed into all the things that you're not supposed to as a champion. Keep that mental focus, but he'll learn. And honestly, you need fights like this in order to get better. And I still think it was a good performance. I don't think Devin Haney should fight Teofimo Lopez next for his career. I would like to see it, to see the truth and who is the best at 135. I want to see it. But my recommendation is work with Ben Davison a little more. Find some synergy in the corner because there were some conflicting instructions. Bill Haney was still injecting himself. You could tell Ben Davison was getting annoyed with the conflict, but chemistry takes time. And I think Devin Haney is still a very good boxer. You can't take away from what he did for 10 and a half rounds. So even around 12, he won. So you maybe won a round or two. In my opinion, judges had it a little closer. They gave 4 to Linares, but still, that's a masterful performance. You cannot be upset at that. So that's the episode for today. Let me know how you feel. Do you like Devin Haney's performance? Do you feel truthfully he could beat Ryan Garcia or even Teofimo Lopez? Because clearly, even Jorge Linares mentioned he doesn't have punching power or the punching power he thinks. He has enough punching power, and power isn't everything. Look, we're not in a strongman sport. We're in a game where you're trying to hit and not get hit. Speed, defense, all that stuff matters. Some of the best boxers in the world never had tremendous one-punch knockout power. But in his first test, I feel Devin Haney did fine. could have been better, but hindsight is always 2020, and he made a mistake in the moment. And that's what immaturity and inexperience does when you fight the best of the best, right? So let me know how you feel about his performance. Don't forget to leave a like, comment. Feel free to destroy my argument. I personally don't care. I love it. Interact. Follow on Instagram at Good Boxing Podcast. And these episodes are going to be coming out more and more. I found my workflow and I got a lot of cool episodes coming your way. Thank you and be well.